Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Alan Doss. I'm actually the president of the Kofi Annan Foundation, but today I'm taking on another job on behalf of our friends and colleagues at Chatham House, and on their name, as well as our own, let me welcome you all this afternoon for this conversation with Martin Fayulu. I'm delighted to welcome President Fayulu, who, as you know, is president of the Engagement pour la Citoyenneté et le Développement, the Commitment for Citizenship and Development, and coordinator of a coalition of political parties, for those who aren't perhaps too familiar with Congolese politics, the Dynamique de l'Opposition. Previously, he worked for 20 years for ExxonMobil in Africa, France, and the United States, including as a managing director. Mr. Fayulu also served as a member of the lower chamber of the Congolese Parliament from 2011 to 2018, and was previously a member of the Provincial Assembly of Kinshasa from 2006. And during the December 2018 presidential election, Mr. Fayulu stood as the joint candidate of Lamuka, a coalition of major opposition political parties. I must say, personally delighted to see him again. The last time we met was in December, where this coalition was put... November, sorry, when this coalition was put together. Of course, a lot has happened since, and this was what we are going to hear, I'm sure, from President Fayulu, who will make a presentation to us shortly. Let me just say, before I ask Mr. Fayulu to speak, I'm told there are a few ground rules here. First of all, the usual thing, please put your phones on silent for the duration of this afternoon's event. Secondly, even though we're in Chatham House rule will not apply today. We will all be on the record, and please note that we are being live streamed, so take note of that. We will ask all of you to, when you speak, to also mention who you are and which organization you may be affiliated with. One last word on the ground rules. I'm told that the audience that there is no filming or recording of this event allowed without prior permission from Chatham House. However, members of the audience are welcome to tweet the event using the hashtag CHAfrica. I hope all of that's clear to those who are used to tweeting. So without anything more to add, I think at this point I would like to, with pleasure, introduce and ask Martin Fayulu to speak to you all. This is a conversation, and after his introduction, we will open the floor for questions and answers. Questions from you, answers from Martin for the rest of the afternoon. So, please.
Okay, I'm speaking in French. Hein?
Oui, c'est bien, Monsieur le Président va parler en français.
Okay.
Pour tous qui ne sont pas au courant, nous avons en traduction simultanée.
Simultanée. Sorry?
Consecutive.
Consecutive.
Consecutive, plutôt.
Okay.
Oui, excusez-moi.
One paragraph and then I stop you. Okay. Mesdames et messieurs, distingués invités, bon après-midi. C'est un grand plaisir pour moi de me retrouver en séjour à l'Institut royal des relations internationales pour parler du processus électoral et des perspectives politiques dans mon pays. Je ne sais pas si l'adjectif démocratique, parce que mon pays s'appelle la République démocratique du Congo. Je ne sais pas si l'adjectif démocratique est approprié aujourd'hui, mais je vous le promets, nous ferons tout, et moi je ferai tout pour qu'il soit réellement dans un bref avenir.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is a great pleasure for me to be here with you today at the Royal Institute to talk about the electoral process and political prospects for my country, the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm not sure if democratic is the right adjective to apply to the country at the moment. but we will do everything, I will do everything that I can to make sure that it is such in the very near future.
Je salue tous les participants à cet échange et je vous remercie pour votre présence en ces lieux malgré vos multiples occupations.
I'm very glad to see you all here today for this active discussion, and thank you very much for coming, because I know that you all have many things that you should be doing.
Je tiens à saluer particulièrement M. Alan Doss, président de la Fondation Kofi Annan, qui, mieux que quiconque, connaît l'histoire de la MOCA, notre coalition politique, et celle de la candidature commune de l'opposition de l'époque.
And I say a special word of greetings to Alan Doss, president of the Kofi Annan Foundation, because more than anyone, he is very familiar with the history of Lamuka, our political coalition, and the story of the prominent candidate from among the opposition parties at the time of the elections.
Au nom de tous mes pairs de la MOCA et en mon nom propre, je renouvelle nos remerciements pour son accompagnement personnel et celui de la Fondation Kofi Annan en réponse à la volonté clairement exprimée du peuple congolais de voir ses leaders de l'opposition de l'époque s'unir pour affronter avec sérénité les échéances électorales du 30 décembre 2018.
On behalf of all my peers in the Lamuka coalition and on my own behalf, I would like to thank him again for his personal support and the support of the Kofi Annan Foundation in response to the clearly expressed will of the Congolese people to see its leaders of the then opposition united in approaching with serenity the date of the elections on the 30th of December 2018.
Enfin, je remercie chaleureusement Chatham House de m'avoir donné l'opportunité de parler de la fraude électorale en République démocratique du Congo.
And finally, I wish to heartily thank Chatham House for giving me this opportunity to come to you to talk about the rigging of the elections in Democratic Republic of Congo.
Mesdames et messieurs, 59 ans après son indépendance, la RDC est un État failli où règne l'insécurité, l'impunité, la pauvreté, la malnutrition, la corruption, le vol, les viols, les tueries, les pillages des ressources, l'enrichissement sans cause, les violations les plus graves des droits humains, bref, les antivaleurs.
Ladies and gentlemen, 59 years after independence, the Democratic Republic of Congo is a failed state, characterized by its insecurity, poverty, malnutrition, corruption, theft, pillaging, violation of human rights, everything that characterizes a failed state.
2 décennies du kabilisme sont venues enfoncer la RDC à tel point que le pays est aujourd'hui devenu la risée du monde entier. Car, malgré ses multiples ressources naturelles, le pays est classé parmi les pays les plus pauvres du monde, 176e au rang, 176e au monde sur 189 et 41e en Afrique sur 53 selon l'indice du développement humain du PNUD.
And in fact, 2 decades of the Kabila regime have further driven the Democratic Republic of Congo into the depths, to the position that we have become the laughingstock of the whole world, because we are a country with great natural resources, and yet we are classed among the poorest in the world, 176th in terms of poverty out of 189. And out of the African countries, we are the 41st poorest out of 53.
Pourtant, les Congolais avaient placé leur espoir en la démocratie et avait cru au processus électoral malgré ses multiples défaillances. Malheureusement, M. Kabila et M. Tshisekedi se sont organisés pour détruire leurs espoirs. Aujourd'hui, il est établi que la commission électorale a tout simplement fabriqué les résultats qu'elle a publiés, foulant aux pieds la volonté du peuple congolais telle qu'exprimée dans les urnes, ce qui est une violation flagrante de l'article 5 de notre Constitution.
The Congolese people had placed their faith in the democratic process and the elections, despite all the multiple defects of the electoral system. But Mr. Kabila and Mr. Tshisekedi got together in order to destroy those hopes. And the Electoral Commission simply fabricated the results of the election so that the hopes expressed through the ballot box have come to naught and constitute a violation of Article 5 of our Constitution.
À ces propos, voici ce que dit Mme Harriet Baldwin, ministre d'État britannique en charge du développement, en charge du département pour le développement international, dans sa lettre adressée à M. Felix Tshisekedi. Je cite: « Le peuple congolais a clairement voté pour le changement. Comme vous le savez, le gouvernement du Royaume-Uni demeure très inquiet au regard des irrégularités qui ont entouré la publication des résultats de l'élection présidentielle, des élections législatives nationales et provinciales. Outre que ces résultats n'ont pas été publiés conformément à la loi électorale de la RDC. » Fin de citation.
And in fact, the British Minister of Economic Development, in a letter to Mr. Tshisekedi, said this, and I quote, the Congolese people clearly voted in favour of change. And as you know, the UK government is extremely concerned about the inequalities that seem to have come out in the results of the presidential elections and also in the national and provincial elections. And furthermore, the results were not published in accordance with the electoral law of the country.
Ainsi, messieurs Alain Dos et Mo Ibrahim ont à juste titre affirmé, je cite, que le résultat de la présidentielle en RDC est une défaite pour la démocratie. Fin de citation.
And Mr. Alan Doss and Mr. Ibrahim also said, again, a quotation, the results of the presidential elections in the DRC are a defeat for democracy.
Je le confirme et j'ajoute que les résultats de toutes les élections tenues jusqu'à présent en RDC sont une défaite pour la démocratie.
And I would add, in fact, that all the results of elections held so far in Democratic Republic of Congo are a defeat for democracy.
En mai 2018, M. Kabila, voyant venir le danger, avait pris des précautions en nettoyant la Cour constitutionnelle afin de s'assurer la confiance totale des juges de la Cour. Risque zéro pour lui.
In May 2018, 7 months before the elections, Mr. Kabila, seeing the danger ahead, took his precautions in order to clear out the Constitutional Court so that he would enjoy the total confidence of the judges in it. Zero risk for him.
Malgré les arguments pertinents de nos avocats et les preuves de photocopies des procès-verbaux que nous avons réunis et présentés à la Cour constitutionnelle, cette dernière a amusé la galerie en déclarant notre recours, je cite, recevable mais non fondé, sans pour autant recompter les voix comme l'exige la procédure en la matière. Pour nous, la MOCA, l'arrêt de la Cour est nul et de nul effet parce que rendu en violation de la procédure.
In spite of the pertinent arguments put forward by our barristers and the photocopies of written records that we gathered and presented to the Constitutional Court by way of proof, the court simply played to the gallery, declaring our appeal admissible but unfounded, and it did not order a recount of the votes as is required, in fact, by the relevant procedure. For us, for LAMUCA, this decision of the court is null and void because it was made in violation of the relevant procedure.
L'Union africaine, quant à elle, a totalement déçu non seulement les Congolais, mais aussi tous les Africains qui tiennent à l'enracinement de la démocratie en Afrique. Vous en connaissez les péripéties et il est inutile de les rappeler ici, mais c'est dommage pour les continents.
The African Union it was completely disappointing and disappointed not only the Congolese but all those Africans who are keen to see democracy properly anchored in Africa. I think you know the ins and outs of all of that and there is no need to go into detail here, but it is a pity for the whole continent.
C'est ainsi que nous avons aujourd'hui à la tête de l'État congolais un président nommé qui a obtenu moins de 17% à l'élection présidentielle, plongeant ainsi les pays dans une nouvelle crise de légitimité qui s'étend jusqu'au niveau des députés nationaux, des sénateurs, des présidents des assemblées provinciales ainsi qu'au niveau des gouverneurs des provinces.
As a result, today we have as head of state a president who got less than 17% of the presidential votes, and the country has now been plunged into a new crisis of legitimacy, which affects every level, national members of parliament, senators, presidents of provincial assemblies, and governors of provinces.
Comment en effet comprendre que le peuple congolais, qui voulait en fait se débarrasser du régime de M. Kabila, en infligeant une défaite cuisante à son candidat dauphin, qui a eu moins de 17%, puisse en même temps accorder à son regroupement politique la majorité que voici.
It is extremely difficult to understand, in fact, how the Congolese people who wanted to get rid of the Kabila regime by inflicting a stinging defeat on his chosen successor and candidate, and in fact that candidate obtained less than 17% of the vote. How is it possible that the people can at the same time give a majority to Kabila's political group, the FCC?
342 députés à l'Assemblée nationale sur 500, 92 sénateurs sur 101. Il reste encore 7 sénateurs à élire dans 2 provinces, le Nord Kivu et le Maïndombe. Au moins 20 présidences des assemblées provinciales sur 26. Et après le vote de tous les gouverneurs, M. Kabila aura certainement au moins 20 gouverneurs sur 26.
So the results were 342 members of the National Parliament out of 500, 92 senators out of 101, 7 senators remain to be elected in 2 provinces, North Kivu and Mai-Ndombe, at least 20 presidents of provincial assemblies out of 26, and after the vote for all the governors, Mr. Kabila will certainly have at least 20 out of the 26.
Dans une pareille configuration, M. Tshisekedi n'est pas à mesure de répondre aux attentes des investisseurs, ni même à l'invitation de certains membres de la communauté internationale qui lui demandent des gages de bonne foi, notamment celui de prendre ses distances par rapport à M. Kabila ou de s'émanciper de lui.
That being the case, Mr. Tshisekedi is not in a position to meet the expectations of investors and cannot respond either to the invitation of some members of the international community for signs of good faith notably setting himself at some distance from Mr. Kabila or getting away from him altogether.
Force est de constater que c'est M. Kabila qui contrôle aujourd'hui tous les leviers pour déchoir M. Tshisekedi, notamment avec la possibilité d'actionner l'article 166 alinéa 1er de la Constitution congolaise qui dispose, je cite, « La décision de poursuite ainsi que la mise en accusation du président de la République et du Premier ministre sont votées à la majorité des 2/3 des membres du Parlement composant les congrès suivant la procédure prévue par le règlement intérieur. »
We have to accept that Mr. Kabila has all the levers of control at his command if he wanted to remove Mr. Tshisekedi, particularly given the option of using Article 166.1 of the Constitution, which says the decision to take the President of the Republic or the Prime Minister to court or to accuse them are voted by a 2/3 majority of the members of Parliament composing the Congress, according to the procedure of the statutes.
Mesdames et messieurs, la légitimité est le socle sur lequel se base l'action d'un exécutif et en l'absence de celle-ci, on peut parler de gouvernance par défi. Et défier son peuple est tout sauf porteur de résultats positifs en termes d'économie et de social. Le mot démocratie, doit-on le rappeler, veut simplement dire le pouvoir qui vient du peuple. C'est l'adhésion d'une population à une vision et à un programme.
The legitimacy is the absolute basis for any action by a government. If it does not exist, there you can only say that the government is governing in defiance of the people. And defying the people is not liable at all to produce positive results in terms of the economy and social conditions. Democracy, may we remember, simply means the power that is coming from the people, and the population must sign up to the vision and the programme of government.
À ce sujet, j'aurais bien voulu m'étendre longuement sur mon programme, sur les réformes à opérer, les grands projets et des voies et moyens de le mettre en exécution. Cependant, tant que les institutions du pays ne seront pas véritablement républicaines et au-dessus des hommes, s'avancer sur ces terrains ne sera rien d'autre que de la rhétorique.
And on that point, I would have liked to speak at length about my own programme and the reforms that need to be brought in, the major projects and the ways in which they could be accomplished. But as long as the institutions we have in the country are not truly republican and overarching the people, there is no real point about talking in these terms. It would simply be rhetorical.
Mais toutefois, permettez-moi que je puisse brièvement vous énoncer les piliers de mon programme. Il s'agit de 1. Le social-libéralisme. C'est notre idéologie politique. 2. La citoyenneté, fondement des droits et libertés pour bâtir une société de valeurs solides. 3. Le pacte pour le développement, pour engager tous les Congolais dans la voie du développement. 4. La gouvernance intègre pour une gestion transparente du pays à tous les niveaux dans le respect des procédures et des normes établies. 5. La cohésion nationale en vue de ressouder le lien entre les différentes communautés du pays. 6. Enfin, la règle gagnant-gagnant, win-win, en privilégiant les principes du jeu coopératif.
But let me just mention to you the main pillars of my programme. Number 1, social liberalism, the political ideology underlying. Number 2, citizenship, based on the rights and liberties to create a society of solid values. Number 3, a pact for development that will involve all Congolese on the path to development. Number 4, a governance with integrity and a transparent management of the country at every level, respecting procedures and the standards in place. Number 5, national cohesion to bring together the various communities in the country. And number 6, a principle of win-win, giving priority to cooperative approaches.
Dans cet élan, il convient plutôt de se pencher urgemment sur les pistes de sortie de la crise de légitimité actuelle dans laquelle est plongée une fois de plus la RDC.
But at the present time, the real urgency is to explore all the avenues that will lead to sorting out the crisis of legitimacy that exists currently in my country. Again.
Pour sortir de cette crise de légitimité, je propose l'organisation des assises entre les parties prenantes, toutes les parties prenantes, pour décider de la tenue, après une période de 12 à 18 mois, de nouvelles élections, toutes les élections, afin de faire respecter la volonté du peuple par la vérité des urnes. Pendant cette période, nous devons mettre en place une institution appelée Haut Conseil national des réformes institutionnelles qui sera dirigée par l'AMUCA, notre coalition politique.
And in order to emerge from this crisis of legitimacy, I am proposing that we organize assizes between the various stakeholders in order to prepare for elections again after a period of 12 to 18 months, new elections at every level in order to make sure that the will of the people is respected through the ballot box. And during that period, we should install an institution that I would call the High National Council of Institutional Reforms, to be led by l'AMUCA, our political coalition.
Cette structure se chargera d'opérer des réformes nécessaires afin de permettre la tenue d'élections transparentes, crédibles et apaisées dans les délais convenus.
This is the structure that will be in charge of carrying out the necessary reforms so that we can organize these new elections that will be transparent, credible and serene and within the timelines established.
Le Haut Conseil national des réformes institutionnelles opérera des réformes notamment dans les domaines suivants. 1. La commission électorale. 2. La Cour constitutionnelle. 3. Le service de sécurité. 4. La lutte contre la corruption. Et 5. Enfin, le respect des libertés publiques et des droits humains.
The High National Council of Institutional Reforms will carry out reforms in the following areas in particular. 1, the Electoral Commission, then the Constitutional Court, security services, the fight against corruption, and finally respect for public freedoms and human rights.
Mesdames et messieurs, les règles de la démocratie doivent s'appliquer partout de la même façon et qu'il ne peut y avoir de doubles standards. Le peuple congolais, comme tous les peuples du monde, a le droit de se choisir librement ceux et celles qu'il estime être le plus à même de les représenter valablement. Si une grande partie de la classe politique congolaise semble privilégier la politique du copinage et des arrangements particuliers, il ne fait aucun doute que le peuple, lui, a clairement démontré son attachement à la démocratie.
The rules of democracy must apply everywhere in the same way. There can be no double standard. The Congolese people, like any people in the world, has the right to choose freely the men and women that it considers are most capable of representing them in a valid way. If a large proportion of the Congolese political class seems to give its priority to the policy of nepotism and individual arrangements, there is no doubt that the Congolese people has clearly demonstrated its attachment to democracy.
Il est donc impérieux que nous gardions cette flamme de la démocratie allumée dans les cœurs et les esprits de chaque Congolais.
It's therefore imperative that we keep that flame of democracy alive in the hearts and minds of every Congolese.
Permettez-moi de conclure mon propos sur une interpellation. Une légalité des pacotilles n'est pas gage de paix et de stabilité. Les Congolais n'accepteront pas cette travestie de la justice et de la vérité, car, conscients qu'il s'agit du prolongement d'un régime qu'ils ont massivement rejeté à travers les urnes. C'est une question d'honneur et de dignité. Le salut du pays repose donc sur la refonte des institutions de la République et le respect strict de la souveraineté du peuple. Je vous remercie. Que Dieu bénisse le Congo. Merci.
May I conclude? Perhaps it's not necessary, do you think? See? May I conclude with a call to action, because a system which is based on a very shaky form of legality is no guarantee of peace and stability. The Congolese will not accept this travesty of justice and truth. They are conscious that this is in fact the prolongation of a regime that they massively rejected through the ballot box. This is a matter of honour and dignity. The health of the country is therefore rests on a complete reform of the Republic's institutions and a strict respect for the sovereignty of its people. Thank you, and God bless the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Thank you very much, President Fayulu, for that. Those remarks, which I think have brought to the surface very clearly all the key issues that concern those who follow and are worried about the Congo. You've been very open, very frank with us, and I'm sure there'll be lots of questions from the floor and on particular points. Let me just add one or two points, though, in terms of those questions. Please, I'm told there is a microphone that will circulate, so please look out for that if you have a question to ask. Speak straight into the microphone, I'm told. Secondly, there'll be a lot of people, I hope, asking questions, so please try to keep them to the point. These are questions, not statements, even though I know all of you have strong feelings on the issues that have come up today. But please, questions, pointed questions to our guest. If need be, I will interrupt and bring the question or statement to a close, because we have a limited amount of time, roughly just about half an hour, and I'm sure a lot of people want to speak. And above all, we want to hear Mr. Fayulu, not ourselves, so please. So I may take groups of questions if there are a lot of hands going up around the House. So who would like to start? Yes, Mr. Fayulu says he would like to answer the questions in English, if that will gain time, rather than go through translation. But I don't want to discourage any Francophone colleagues we have here, but if it's possible, let's ask the questions in English, and President Fayulu will respond in English. His English is very good, as you all heard, so no problem. So who would like to start? I'm just going to make a little run around the, well, there's at least one gentleman who has a hand up. Please go ahead. Let us know your name and affiliation, please, while others give some thought to what they want to ask.
Thank you very much. Ewan Grant, I'm a Chatham House member and I've worked on border control and revenue collection projects in the East African community, never actually DRC. My question is this, and it reflects the fact that you're an ex-Exxon man. How do you think the revenues from the natural resources, all the natural resources, can be properly taxed for the benefit of the people and the state and not the individuals? And which international organizations or NGOs are doing a good job on that, which are not? Thank you.
Yes, please. Would you prefer to answer that question directly or wait to have a few?
It's as you want.
Well, let's have this gentleman then.
Thank you. Jonathan Rosenthal from The Economist magazine. Mr. Fayulu, I think many of us would probably agree with your statement that the election was stolen. But I suppose my question is around your proposal that there be an interim administration and elections in 12 to 18 months, because my sense is certainly that there is no international appetite for doing so, particularly given the recent comments out of the Secretary of State in the US. So I suppose, what is the realistic prospect of what you are asking for happening? And if that is not going to happen, what is your plan B? Thank you, sir.
Why don't we start with those two questions?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, for the as the ExxonMobil man, what I propose so that the national revenue can benefit the people of Congo. Yeah, I think we just need the rule of law. We need a good, clear, and responsible leadership. We need to produce wealth and to share the wealth. And nobody can stand there and start becoming rich. Kabila today, he and his family, they are telling us that this guy has 18 to 22 billion. Where this money come from? And yet the country, the budget for the country, every year, the budget is only $5 billion US. 5 billion, with a population more than 80 million. The neighboring country, Angola, with less than 30 million people, they have 50 billion. I think that there is, it's possible to channel the money to, the proper way to benefit the people of Congo and to invest, in education, building road, infrastructure, and so on and so forth. Health, we have Ebola there, and we are having all those kind of disease because people are not benefiting from the country. If you take Kabila himself and his family, but take others, you may have maybe 100 families in Congo, they worth 100 billion. I think today, the prerequisite for that, the prerequisite is to have a government and the check and balance. The real parliament is not the parliament when someone go, and if the minister has to come, and I called many ministers in the parliament. When they come, the guy will come and pay each individual, the member of parliament. And then they defeat your purpose, what you wanted to achieve. I was a member of local Kinshasa parliament, and the governor was taking the money everybody knew. And when you go there, then he will bring money, he pay everything. We need this thing to change. The economists, see if what I'm proposing is the solution, a peaceful solution, is a win-win. Because people are thinking that the Congolese people, they don't react. They will react. Just remember that we had February 16, 1992, during Mobutu time. Just remember also we had the week of January 19 to January 25 in 2015. People demonstrated. Everywhere I'm going now, including in Europe, Congolese are asking me to give them arms because they want to fight. I'm telling them, you are, well equipped. You can do something to push Kabila and Tshisekedi out. In our constitution, there is an article, Article 64, which allow Congolese people to react, to demonstrate, and to send away anybody who wants to stay in power by violating the constitution. But if what I'm proposing doesn't, happen, I think we'll have, people will go on the street. Madame of MONUSCO, Leila Zerougi, was telling me, you see, Mr. Fayulu, in Algeria, we have a man, an old man is there, and he's still there. What do you want? And today he's not there. In Sudan, don't underestimate the Congolese people. I think that the international community, asking the international community, they didn't fund the last election. There is a time now to put the hand in the pocket to bring money, because if not, the opportunity cost will be huge.
Thank you. Please. Right, now we start to see some hands. Please, lady in the middle there.
Thank you. My name is Tracy Doig. I'm from a British organisation called Freedom from Torture. Our organisation has documented the systemic arrest and torture of Congolese people engaged in political and human rights activity over the last 15 to 20 years. I'm just wondering what your approach would be to ensure that the systemic use of torture could be eradicated from the Congolese security services, and how respect for rule of law could be implemented in the country.
Thank you. Please.
Hello, I'm Tatiana, founder of the TG Foundation. We've helped victims of rape in Congo for the last 10 years now. And my question to Mr. Fayulu is, do you think that it might be more appropriate at this stage, because of the complete breakdown of the democratic institutions in the Congo and the absolute absence of the rule of law, to maybe, instead of calling for elections in 12 to 18 months, to actually call for an interim government, a transitional government, and to work alongside your ideas for reformations? And also, we do ask the international community, obviously, to support this, but also we do have the ICC, and we know that, Kabila is a war criminal. And do you not also feel that, on top of, calling for these reformations and the support of the international community, that the ICC really also needs to act against Kabila, confiscate that $20 billion, and also finally arrest Dan Gertler, who everyone knows has been the main actor really behind Kabila's wealth. So I think that, the military needs to be disarmed. I think that we need to rebuild the military in Congo and infrastructure, and, to call on elections before the reformation, maybe a transitional government. There are clearly a lot of Congolese people in this room today waiting on the sidelines who would be more than happy to go back and contribute to rebuilding during a time of transition, and then maybe move on to elections.
Thank you. I think there was a gentleman at the back there who... Yes, please.
Bonjour, monsieur, bonsoir plutôt, monsieur Martin Fayulu, Alain Dos. Je suis Félix au Congo. Je suis de la diaspora et étudiant à l'université Suffolk, en complicité avec Business London School. Monsieur Fayulu, nous savons comment les élections se sont déroulées en République démocratique du Congo. La situation, elle est très grave. Avec les propositions que vous avez données pour normalement accéder à la vérité des urnes. Monsieur Fayulu, est-ce que vous ne pensez pas que la situation puisse encore dégénérer la République démocratique du Congo comme il est au centre de l'Afrique? Vous savez, la potentialité que compte la République démocratique du Congo, elle est grande, elle est différente de tous les pays de l'Afrique que vous avez cités, le Soudan, le Nigeria, ils ont du pétrole. Mais la RDC actuellement est au centre de toute le convoitise mondiale. Mais, Monsieur Fayulu, comment comptez-vous arriver à trouver une solution pacifique pour éclater la vérité des urnes? Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur. Alors, I'm going to ask now Mr. Fayulu to respond to those three questions. I think we'll have time for another round afterwards.
How to get rid of the torture? I think, as I said, the rule of law, you have to respect the Constitution, we have to respect the human rights, and if we now install justice in the Congo, just if you do you go against the Constitution, and you have to be punished. And if you educate the people, it's also a matter of education. If you educate the people who reports those violations of the human right, I think that we can succeed. And we need a government, democratic government. And because that's why we want the government to be accountable. If there is no accountability, nobody will respect the rule of law, and nobody will respect the Constitution and the human rights. Tatiana, you prefer you want to call for an interim transitional government. We are talking about legitimacy, and we are talking about the sovereignty of the Congolese people. As the Congolese people went to the polls, and they elected the president. They elected the member of parliament, both national parliament and the provincial parliament. And today, if someone comes and says, Mr. Fayulu, get this, become prime minister, or like the other were proposing, just become a vice president, which is not in our constitution. And you accept, the Congolese will say, okay, this guy, you are not serious. You want to share power. You are there for power. We want your program because you came here to explain, to sell your program. We voted for the program. Sorry? I agree completely with you. You can't have it if the result were the real one. I could have been in this position today to answer, to implement the reforms. How do you have all this in Ghana? Remember, in those days, Rawlings in power, Mobutu in power in Congo, we had the same situation. We were, all of us, in the same program d'ajustement structurel, structural adjustment program of World Bank. All of us. We were in the same situation with Brazil, the three countries, Brazil, Ghana, and Congo. Where is Nigeria? Where is Ghana today? I was with the President Nana Addo at Harvard University. He made the opening remarks with the African student. I made the closing remarks. But Ghana there are 5, presidents there, the 4 former presidents. Democracy is vamping, the business is, the thing is we cannot build anything sustainable if we don't have the prerequisite. You cannot just cook. We had 4+1. They said that, okay, Kabila president, you have 4 vice president. Where are we today? We had election in 2006. Bemba won. They said, no, we need Kabila for stability. Bemba spent 10 years in jail, in Hague. I think you cannot cook things and then say, let's go to the basics. If you forget the basics, you don't get anything. Congo, because the people, the democracy is the people. The people want democracy. You can build that. We are,
Please,
sorry.
Please.
We will continue.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, ask DFID, the UK organization, how much money DFID, Madam, how much money DFID has spent in Congo to reform the judiciary system? If leadership is not there, the lack of leadership, you will have lack of everything. Yeah, Félix, au Congo, la situation peut dégénérer, oui. La situation peut dégénérer. Nous sommes aujourd'hui dans une poudrière. Il faut faire très attention. Les Congolais n'ont pas encore dit leur dernier mot. Et c'est pour cela, je l'ai dit au secrétaire d'État américain, sous-secrétaire d'État, chargé des questions africaines. Je l'ai dit au Premier ministre au ministre des Affaires étrangères belge Didier Reynders. Je l'ai dit à Rémi Maréchal au Quai d'Orsay à Paris. Et je l'ai dit à tout le monde. Je verrai certains dirigeants britanniques, je leur dirai la même chose. Si on ne fait pas attention, si on ne vient pas pour résoudre le problème du Congo, le Congo sera un pays qui n'existera plus. M. Kabila a un projet. M. Kabila est venu au Congo pour déstabiliser les Congos, pour affaiblir les Congos. Et quand il aura affaibli les Congos, chacun fera ce qu'il voudra. Donc, il faut une solution et tout le monde doit s'engager. Moi, de ma part, je me suis engagé et je ne laisserai jamais le peuple congolais être dépassé par les événements.
We have perhaps time for one more question, and then we will have to wrap up. I think we have to finish by 4 o'clock. Perhaps the gentleman in front here, and then one over there, and that'll be it. Please make it precise, if you wouldn't mind.
My name is Jordan Anderson. I work for IHS Market. My father was born in Congo, donc on peut dire que je suis demi-congolais. I wanted to ask you, in the absence of the structure you talk about, do you see any potential or any areas of cooperation that would be worthwhile between yourself and Tshisekedi? Are there any areas where Lamuka would cooperate or any issues you could work on? Thank you.
Thank you. And then finally, the gentleman there. Yes, with the glasses, yes.
Thank you. My name is Daniel Onwebu. I'm a Nigerian peace ambassador, United Nations peace ambassador in Nigeria. I feel very concerned about Congo Republic because it's a great country. Now, when you were talking, you gave an option of, having another fresh election in Congo, DRC. I feel a bit worried. What is the guarantee that that same election will not be manipulated against the will of the people?
Good question.
Yeah.
Perhaps final responses.
Okay, final response. Yeah, Jordan. Any area of cooperation with Felix Tshisekedi in the absence of the structure, there is no area of cooperation with Felix. My flexibility is that, okay, let's forget about what happened. I'm flexible, but I cannot betray the Congolese people. What cooperation can we have? Felix Tshisekedi will do nothing because Kabila controlled everything. I don't know the late Tshisekedi where he is. If somebody tells him that your son has colluded with Kabila to betray the Congolese, there is no, because will not achieve anything. Kabila will not want reform because he controls the mining sector, he controls everything. He is afraid that somebody will take him to Hague and so on and so forth. There is no. I will go to accompany him, and then the Congolese people tomorrow, they will say that, okay, you guys, you are too, you also, you are not serious. My friend in Nigeria, I spent 2 years in Nigeria, you know, that I work with Bola Tinubu, who's my friend. Yes, why the whole world, the 50 nations, are supporting Juan Guaido to redo elections in Venezuela? Why? I think today I continue to. I don't agree that African are different. I work in that company ExxonMobil. I didn't respond clearly in one question. I don't think that the international organization, the real one, those who are serious. ExxonMobil is in Nigeria. They are doing a job in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, they have 51% ExxonMobil, 49% Nigeria government. They are doing business, okay? Everybody is controlling the business there. Why in Congo is not like that, okay? The problem is, if you don't have character, if you are not, you know, well equipped, you cannot do anything. That's why I said in my program, we have to educate our people so we can strengthen them and to respond to everything is coming in this world. Another fresh election. If we had election, if Tshisekedi, in the group, Tshisekedi, Felix is very close to me. If he didn't go ahead and sign a deal with Kabila, the election, we went to the good, proper election. If the result was the correct one, today the country will come, you know, everything will be revamped. I think that the solution is the truth of the ballot. The solution is to respect the will of people. The solution is not someone has to come. Even the president of South Africa, we will have election in South Africa next month. Nobody will go to South Africa to tell them that do this. If this is happening in Nigeria, as I know Nigerian, you will accept that? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm certainly not going to try to sum up that very rich discussion, but I do want to thank Martin Fayulu again for being so open and direct with us all. He mentioned the fundamental problem, the crisis of legitimacy. It seems to me that is where we really face the greatest problem. Because without that legitimacy, the kinds of reforms that some of you have alluded to will not be possible. Reform of the security sector to protect people, to stop torture. Reform of the economy to reduce and eliminate, hopefully, corruption and so forth. Those are not possible, I think, without that kind of firmly based legitimacy that all governments need, but especially those that are faced, as we know, in Congo with enormous problems. So I want to, I'm sure on behalf of all of us, wish Mr. Fayulu and his supporters strength and courage. The challenge for them now is how to stay together in the difficult months and years ahead. You know, if Plan B doesn't work, there'll have to be a Plan C and maybe a Plan D. It's really, really important because what we find in country after country, and I'm speaking now as head of the Kofi Annan Foundation, is that good government needs, above all, good opposition. Yeah. An opposition that's ready, willing, and able to take over. And so I wish him every success in keeping that opposition together. One of his supporters is here, former Prime Minister Muzitu, I know also from my days in the Congo. So together you have the talent, you have the people. I just hope now that you can stay together in face of this enormous challenge that you and the Congo, and above all the people of the Congo, face. Good luck to all of you. Thank you.